Dear friends, we take education to work because work provides us the livelihood. It is very important that we derive joy in our work. This is a process. In today's world, while working we have to learn. Continuous learning is essential even to continue with the present work as well. So this learning habit, which is inculcated at the beginning in the educational period, will be of a very valuable asset for all the students throughout their life. So we shall try to see how to work joyfully, because that is part and parcel of the education. We teach the students in the educational institutions so that they become successful professionals, so that they are becoming successful in their work life. So the elements of working joyfully and elements of enjoying education, they overlap. So in this lecture session, we will try to see how we can work joyfully. The reference text for the contents of this material are given on this slide. These are Happier, which is the backbone of the most popular course at the Harvard University by Professor Tal Ben-Shahar, and the other is The Flow, Optimal Experience by Professor Mihai Csikszentmihalyi. These two are the eminent researchers of positive psychology in the world today, and how to work joyfully is one of the areas they have explored and given their suggestions, and many people have benefited from their suggestions. You work for yourself. See, I swim because I am not passenger on someone else's ferry boat. See, your livelihood cannot be earned by somebody else. One has to work throughout the life. See, like in the water, when you are swimming, to save your life, you should move your limbs. It is essential. Similarly, when you complete your education and enter into the outside world, you have to earn your livelihood and you have to work for that. That work should be enjoyable. If you learn the elements of enjoying that work, that will be very beneficial for us. I think as I swim for myself, no one else could do this for me. As a person who is swimming in water, see, his moves are to be moved. Nobody else can move the limbs for making him to swim. Similarly, in work life and in educational life, it is the person who is taking education, it is the person who is prospering in the work life. He will be making best effort to work joyfully, to learn joyfully. There is pleasure in work life. If you want to increase your success rate, double your failure rate. This is the statement given by Thomas J. Watson. So it is very important that if we are trying many times, then we will be failing many times, and during those failures, the elements of success will be known to us. The electric bulb experiments of Thomas Alva Edison is known. Many times he failed, but he was not relenting. He was telling to the people around him that I found out the ways in which if I make the bulb, it will not be successful. But when he made the bulb successful, in the last 100 years, electrification is the technologically the number one technology all across the world. So all world accepts that that is one of the boon to the human race. The work life as well as the enjoyment life has improved because of that thing. To be happy, we need to immerse in work, which is meaningful and measurable. See, if we are trying to while away our time at work, then that is not the real work. When we are at work, we should be pursuing serious work. And that serious work should have some long-term purpose. Then only it will consist of some meaning. And once the work has got some meaning in the long run, the immediate hardships will be considered as a privilege, and that will be pleasurable. So it is very important that we should take pleasure in the work. If we choose to only for the material wealth as our objective, we may lose the pleasure in the work. So my request to all the students is that when we are entering in the work life, it is very important that we must, along with the material wealth, look for all the enrichment value. That is, I must find the work joyful. It should be in tune with my strengths, with my virtues. It should be enjoyable, that unless you ensure, and definitely you will have some choice in the initial period as you enter into the work life to choose the work. And after that, even if you are not getting a work which you can take pleasure in, see, you can increase the elements of the pleasure in the work that you are pursuing, because you have to earn your livelihood. In Ishavasya Upanishad, it is said that karma rati ne 100 varshe jaga, work and live for 100 years. Ancient Upanishads in India, they were understanding the importance of work in everybody's life. So it is said that if you are working with joy and you are learning with joy, this will be sufficient for you to work very efficiently for 100 years. So this is what is required for everybody in today's world. Thinking is trying to make up for the gap in one's education. Sometimes, because of some constraint in one's life, he may not go for the right education which he feels right for him. Then he can make up for that by thinking, and with the open universities, and when he gets time to pursue his education, he should complete his education so that the fulfillment of the life, the satisfaction of the life is ensured for everybody. I think in the net connected world this will be possible. Ask and you shall receive, say the scriptures. Unless we ask for what we want, we will never be given. So it is very important that if I want joy in the work, I should try to find it and ask myself how I can find joy in the work. When we ask questions, we open ourselves to new possibilities and alternatives. It is very important that we must try to see the new possibilities and alternatives to enjoy the work. Unless we are intentionally trying to find out the possibilities and avenues for enjoying the work that I am undertaking, it is really very difficult to find them. So we need to intentionally seek what are the underlying opportunities for enjoyment in the work. We see things we may not have seen before, discover paths we may have previously obscured. Many paths are obscured. Sometimes you are going at the same place, but you are not understanding the importance of that. So it happens. Serendipity is one of the phenomena in which many scientists have found out that they were working really very hard, but they were not able to get the thing. One of the examples that I would like to cite here is a benzene ring, the double bond of the benzene ring. Kekule found when he was sleeping. In his dream, snakes came and they were indicating him. Actually, snakes never represent a bond in real world. But he got the intuition, that obscure phenomena of bonding in the benzene ring. He found out by looking at the snakes in the ring. Such good insights are available when you are really trying to find out joy in the work. We use our all creative talents to find better options. When we are interested in really improving the lot of the people around us and ourselves, see, many times the creative talents in our minds will come forth and we give solutions. So other people with hindsight may say that this is quite obvious, but only some people get the solution, whereas others are trying to find the solution, but they are obscure to them because the intensity with which the work is to be pursued or the work should be considered as a joy, that is not there. You will find that most of the people who are proposing new solutions to the existing problems, they are trying to work joyfully, and during that time only they get some very excellent solutions. Work requires skills and talent. The work should draw a variety of talents and skills. See, monotonous work will not be enjoyable. It has been found that if the person who is undertaking the work is understanding the complete whole task but doing a part of it, then also he can enjoy the work. The employee should complete a whole task, and sometimes this may not be possible. But if to a group of employees you are giving the complete task and they are trying to complete them within a group, then the possibility that those work group will enjoy the work is more. So we have to structure the work in such a fashion that most of the people who are coming to work, they are enjoying their work. In the knowledge era, It is really very difficult if somebody is sitting before the computer trying to solve a problem. He looks into the monitor. What is going on in his brain is really not visible. If you are lifting stone from one place to other place, that is visible. So it is very important that to get the concentration of the workers in the work and to get proper solution, the work environment also should be structured in such a fashion that the knowledge worker gets his involvement in the work, and for that the idea of what the complete task is given to him, then that will be better. The employee should feel that the work has a significant impact on the others. See, you are working and somebody is getting benefited. That's a great motivation for human being to work. You will find that most of the time when somebody else's work is benefiting others, that person will take pride, he will have a better social status, and that will drive him to put the work joyfully. As he gets pleasure in the work will automatically be honored in the society as well. The ultimate currency is well-being. So when we are pursuing work, it is very important that the increase in the ultimate currency should be there. A leader, manager who designs work that meets these conditions is likely to increase the employee's profits in the ultimate currency. See, it is very important that if we have complete idea of the work, what complete work is, even if the vague idea is there, to all the people who are working on the parts of that work, assuming that the work is a really complex work, the knowledge workers or the people's involvement in the present work will be increased if the leader manages this. So in today's era, it is very important that the leader and manager understand this human psychology, and they should try to see to it that maximum workers are putting their maximum work with joy and involvement. Automatically, the overall work will be better. The people who are working in that work group will gain in the ultimate currency, and that is important for living a satisfied life. Blaming others is very bad. Our parents, if you are blaming parents, teachers, or when you are in workplace, boss, government, that may yield sympathy, but blaming others can never increase the ultimate currency. Everybody should keep this in mind. This is not only for the student, but everybody who is working. It is essential that if we are trying to blame others for the work not done or for the work poorly done, that will not increase the happiness. To increase the happiness, see, I must do my work properly, and in addition to that, I must help the people around me to do their work properly. For that, right feedback in a right way is very essential. That's why the communication skills in today's world are emphasized, because how to say what you want to say in the words in which the person before is going to receive amicably is a great art. It is very essential that one master this art. Unless one masters this art, it is very difficult to become leader or manager. And people who are working, they have the aim of becoming leaders of the work groups in which they work. It is possible to create right conditions at work, and the responsibility is not only with the leader and manager, the responsibility even lies with the worker. As a student, to create right conditions for learning, it lies with the student plus teachers plus the institutions in which learning. When you are working in a corporation, along with the employee, and the service staff in the company, this will be very important. The ultimate responsibility of finding the right job or creating right conditions at the work lies with us, because we are the people who are getting the pay packet, and unless we put the amount of the hours that are needed to do the work in the office, we cannot get the salary. Then why put those hours in a depressed mood, or why should one work disinterestedly? It is very essential that we take the responsibility of enjoying our happiness at our workplace. So well-being will be great cause. For that, sometimes you will have to learn some new skills. One should not be afraid of learning those, or one should not say that this is not my cape. Even if part of the skill is acquired, the overall work life will be very beneficial. The sooner we realize this, the better, because then the time that you are spending at work will be really very helpful. By blaming others at the workplace, one spoils his own happiness and that of the others. If you start blaming for some work not done properly, your fellows, your friends in the company or at the workplace, it is really very difficult that you will get the cooperation of theirs for your work next time. So if you sit together, do a proper interaction and find out what was the fault. The objective is to find the fault and not to blame the people who are helping you to do the work. Sometimes when a novice is entered, it is difficult for him to acquire all the skills that are required to do a good work. If he is advised properly, within very short span of time, he acquires those skills. And once he acquires those skills, the workplace will definitely be much better and the blame game will automatically stop. For this, what is important is that we all assume the responsibility of the work. When we are working in a team, the work is responsibility of all the stakeholders. Like, passing out graduates with proper skills is the responsibility of not only teachers and academic institutions. It is one of the most important responsibilities of the student as well, because if he does not find a job in the workplace, or his skills are not at par with others at the workplace, instead of becoming a joyful place, will create anxiety for him. He may try to avoid go to the work, and that may in the long run cause negative emotions and lead to depression. So it is very important that to enjoy a joyful work life, we must try to understand the elements of the flow and incorporate it in our life. To assume the responsibility, we can assume the responsibility if we experience flow by setting clear goals and challenging ourselves, even when our job, in the case of student studies, do not require that what we do. See, sometimes when we are going for the job and the place at which you are working is not in proper shape, if you are helping others to get that into a proper shape, that comes as extra burden. But if you are trying to help and next time you are instructing the subordinates that, see, whenever we are beginning the work, the workplace should be at the proper place. This is the way how we should learn to assume the responsibility. And we can assume more responsibility. It is possible. Instead of creating irritations, instead of creating problems at the workplace by blaming each other, it is better to assume more responsibility. Sometimes a person is repeatedly committing the same mistake. You may have to exhort him so that he also assumes the responsibility. So an element of negative emotion may come, but that should be as small as possible. In a good workplace, when we are reprimanding the people who are trying to do work which is not satisfactory, it has been found that people are amicably agree with whatever they are told, and they upgrade their levels and help others so that the workplace becomes an enjoyable place. We seek higher levels of involvement in the work that we find interesting. This is quite common. If the work is interesting, why the person will not go to work happily? Most of the people, they find that the work is not interesting. That's why they are not going to work happily. And see, the prejudice of work is there. If elders are treating their work as joyful, it is very easy for the youngers in that profession to treat their work as joyful. So it is the responsibility of the leaders in that area to see to it that whatever the work they are undertaking, that is joyful. Courage and going ahead amid fear. See, whenever you are undertaking a new work, there will be an element of fear. One should find studies interesting or work interesting, because our professional growth depends on our success in academic as well as in our work life. Courage is not about having fear, but it is about going ahead amid fears. In Sanskrit, there is a very good word for This is called dhriti. See, you continue to work whatever you are doing, though there is an element of fear. And once you become efficient in the work, that element of fear in your mind, in your heart will automatically go, and then the possibility that you continue to work in a flow mode, you start enjoying the work is more. So it is very important that we continue our work as nice as possible to the best of our abilities amid the fears. Hard currency and the ultimate currency are both necessary for survival. So material success is important. So material success along with well-being is going to give us a better life. So not only survival but a flourishing life requires a right amount of hard currency as well as good amount of ultimate currency. The workplace should be able to give both these to every worker at the workplace. They are generally the hard currency and the ultimate currency are not mutually exclusive. So we have to carefully find out the overlap, and this overlap is the place where we can put our goals and put our maximum efforts, because this overlap is ensuring that I am getting material prosperity along with the ultimate currency. Both of them are going to place me at a very good place in life. The emotions are the fuel. The investment we make in our work cannot be determined merely but by what we stand to gain or to lose financially. See, only financial gain or loss I cannot associate with my work. Sometimes even if you are losing financially, you feel happiness. See, the quality of the work and the emotions that you attach with the work, that is very essential. We will find that most of the non-profit people who are working in the non-profit organizations, they are finding their work joyful because they may not be getting the pay packets which are at par with the multinationals. But they are happy when they see that the underprivileged are getting the benefits of their efforts, and they see the shining eyes, and they feel that whatever they are putting effort is some money that they get for their work in the non-profit organization, plus the ultimate currency that they find in the development of the underprivileged and their enhanced social status, makes the workplace really enjoyable for them. So it is not only the material worth, but material worth plus the emotions which are fuel for our life. Human beings are all the time trying to get good emotion attached with their work. Without having an emotional investment in our work, we ultimately lose interest. See, if the work is not providing you the emotional investment, the nourishment of the emotions, then really it is very difficult to pursue with that work in the long run. Emotion lead to motion. They are the fuel of most of the human beings. That's why you will find that Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, after obtaining his ICS degree, did not join the Indian civil services, but he joined the freedom movement. So what would have been the emotion attached with him? So it is very essential that the great sacrifices that the Indian leaders have placed, that time you will find that most of the best brains in India, they were working for the independence of the India. They were not working for increase in the material wealth. So these examples are there all across India. You will find the leaders immediately after the independence rose to the heights. They were all from this. They had very strong commitment. So this working joyfully without material worth is very important. In any healthy society, it is the ultimate success of majority of the people in the society that is important. That's why all the workplaces in the healthy society should be designed in such a manner that the people there are working joyfully, they take interest in the work, and maximum people are benefited. See, it is very important to finding our calling, because that is what gives our work life the joy. The most beautiful fate, the most wonderful fortune that can happen to any human being is to be paid for doing that which he passionately loves to. I can give my example because one of the students told me that, sir, if you teach so passionately, if you are not paid, what will you do? I'll say, definitely I will find a place to get my livelihood. But at least for 1 or 2 hours every day, it will be my joy to work. So if what you take joy in is what you are doing at workplace, then that is not a workplace at all. You never feel the anxiety to go to the workplace. That is something where you really relish. So this Abraham Maslow's statement clearly indicates that. In Indian tradition, the same thing is there. Sant Gyaneshwar had told that karme ishu bhatava. Whatever work that you are doing, you assume that that work is the offerings to the Almighty by yours. If every person, whatever work he is or she is doing, is considering that that work is offering to the Almighty, the way we are trying to offer things to Almighty, then the world will be a really great place. Every work will be enjoyable and working joyfully will really come true. But it is difficult to do in real world. So the one who has found calling, his inner urge, his inner emotions are fulfilled in the work, he only can do such work. Early hunter-gatherers used to spend 3 to 5 years each day for what they are doing. That is called as working. They were getting the meal that was sufficient to provide them food. They had shelter, clothing, and they are happy. Most of the time they were spending, rest of the day they were spending conversation, resting and dancing. That means in the good old days, for a long time in the human history, the people were working for limited time and they were spending good amount of time in conversation, in resting, in dancing, enjoying the life. So with the industrialization, what happened? That to earn more and more money, people restructured the work, and that restructured work is creating problem. It is necessary that the prejudice against the work should go by restructuring work again properly by using the new technologies. Industrial workers of the 19th century were often forced to work for 12 hours per day, 6 days a week, toiling grim factories and dangerous mines. So that now here, the rhythm, human rhythm, that you are working for some time in a day, for some time in a day you are enjoying, for some time day you are keeping your family. This harmony got destroyed. So unless we all are able to re-establish this harmony, it is really difficult to find joy in the work. So it is essential that we restructure the work collectively so that the joy at the workplace returns. Work gives man nobility and turns him into an animal. See, if you are only after material worth and you are not caring for the people who are working to increase the material work that you are producing, means this working 12 hours, the owner of the factory is getting benefit and he is not passing on right profit to the workers, then that will definitely create a prejudice against work. That was the reason that most of the cultures, work is not treated as really very good. Even in the older scriptures, as punishment for his ambition, Adam was sentenced by the Lord to work the earth with the sweat of his brow. Means work is considered as curse in the cultures. Many cultures, it is considered as the curse. I really find that in Indian culture, work is never considered as curse. Because Ishavasya Upanishad clearly says that Karma Ratine Shambhar Varshe Zaga. It's all through your works you should do Karme Ishu Bhazava. It means that the offerings you are giving to the God, they should be in the form of the work. In our culture, work always has got the right place. It is essential that we